Now, Ted Cruz making a new pitch to conservative voters less than 2 weeks away now from the Iowa caucuses.
But I would suggest to voters, don't listen to what any of the candidates say on the campaign trail. Campaign's rhetoric is cheap. Ignore what I say, ignore what Donald says. Look to our records. Who has actually stood up and fought? If you say you're going to take on Washington, when have you stood up and led the fight?
Well, a new poll from Loras College breaks down the percentage of candidate supporters who identify as evangelical Christian. 69% of Ted Cruz's supporters consider themselves evangelical. Donald Trump gets 56%, Marco Rubio 52%, Jeb Bush 45%. Real talk now from Guy Benson, Fox News contributor, political editor for townhall.com. Some really interesting numbers in here because there are groups of people, not to label folks in Iowa, but this is the way it works. Groups that are going to come out for one candidate or the other. How do you see it from the evangelical side?
Well, Ted Cruz has the highest ceiling among evangelicals in Iowa, a crucial voting bloc in that state. He also has the highest ceiling, again by double digits, among voters who consider themselves very conservative in the Hawkeye state. So among those groups, you'd say, look, Ted Cruz has been courting the very conservative vote for his entire political career. On the evangelical question, Ted Cruz, if you will, speaks fluent evangelical, whereas Donald Trump less so, as we saw this week with the 2 Corinthians biblical reference at Liberty University. So I think Cruz, in those 2 very important blocks, has a substantial lead.
Okay, you mentioned the very conservative voters. I just want to put that up now so our viewers can see how Ted Cruz does. 49% of them. Trump much further down in this category at 27%, Rubio 16%, Bush 10%. It's interesting because all along Cruz has really not been able to get traction on the fact that he's that different from Donald Trump, at least in his conservative area, even though he's been sending out tweets today that show as close as 2013 Trump felt totally different about amnesty.
Right, and then Trump coming back with a video that purports to show Cruz flip-flopping on birthright citizenship. I mean, it's crunch time here. So both campaigns are trading barbs. I do find it interesting to see a presidential candidate at any level basically imploring voters to listen to not a word that he says.
I know, that was pretty honest.
I was like, whoa, I kind of like that.
He's like, look at your record. He said, look at the record. And why is he saying that, Guy? Because he doesn't believe that Donald Trump has a political record, or if at all, he has one that is mixed.
Mixed is putting it generously, yes. If it comes down to Trump and Cruz, as it appears to be doing at least in Iowa, one of them has been a consistent conservative with some issues and some problems, some slipperiness on certain issues like any politician would have. One, though, overall has been a conservative. That's Ted Cruz. Donald Trump has been all over the map, although I'm not sure that that really bothers many of Trump's supporters. I think they are more about his persona and his strength rather than his policy position.
I just want to leave it at this. First and second choice, when you combine them, Cruz jumps to 48%, but Marco Rubio also has a very high number. Right,
he gets a big boost. If you take first choice and second choice combined in this Loras poll, Trump is behind Cruz by 9 points. 48% is a very good number for Ted Cruz on that metric. Marco Rubio goes from 13% to 30%. That's a really big jump for him as well. So overall, heading into this major early state, it looks like the momentum might be on Trump's side, but Cruz has a very solid base off of which to build.
All right, Guy, great to get the real story from you in studio. Yes. Thanks.